Hi everyone! Welcome to the Energetic Accelerator Day 2. I'll give you guys a couple of seconds to find your way to me. Good morning everyone. And I'm going to get out what we're doing today. Hello Kim. Just drop a little emoji in the chat if you saw that I've shared the EA notes and resources with you. So it's a bizarre thing I've done, to be honest, because I never share my notes. I do my slides for the programs, but I've never just shared my notes. But I get a phenomenal amount of messages from you guys being like, Hannah, how did you do the script? Where are the words to this script? Let me just get this so I can see you guys. So I just want to make sure before we all begin, you've got the doc. Let me grab it here. If not, I'm going to drop the link again so that you've got it. Hello. Hello. Who's got the doc? Just move this slightly higher. Yeah, that's better. And if not, I'm going to throw it in here. Yes. Okay, now I've got the comment section. Oh, okay. I can see people. Good morning, Kim. Sandra saw it. Good morning, Tamsin. Loving the morning vibe. Yes, I know. I mean, we say that we love the morning vibe, but Sandra apparently finds this very impressive about me. I am not a morning person, so I wake up at like 9 something. And so it was very funny in the certification, Adrienne was like, well, why don't we have a session at 9? And I was like, well, if you want me to be on that call, that's not going to happen. Right, so all of these stories about like the CEOs that wake up at 5 in the morning, and that's the only way you get the results. That is not me. Saw the doc, do we need it open? No, you don't need it open. I just want to make sure that you guys have got the resources. Hildegard's got it. Good morning, Derissa. Okay, cool. So if you've not got it, just if you're watching this later, I've put a post in. One of my nails fell off this morning. Well, last night. So we're just going to go with this. Strange look, and I'm going to go get it fixed today. It's always a joy when a nail falls off just before you're about to teach and there's no time to fix it. Anyway, the resource, the doc, I've put a post in the Global Uni Facebook page and I've just pinned it there. You don't need it for today, but I want you guys to have it so that if you want to do the tappings, there's a couple of morning practices there. And so a little bit you can see my thinking with the EA as we go, okay? And so you'll see the initial unconscious mind questions are there. There are a few more on the doc than I did. And it's just a resource that you can come back to, okay? So have we all got that? Drop an emoji if you've got it, okay? And then I'll continue. I'm a bit coldy this morning, aren't I? We've just switched the aircon in the property because Craig doesn't like being hot. Craig would be happy living in a fridge. And so I'm cold. Tamsin, you would be cold as well. We've all got the doc. Okay, awesome. Setting the scene. What are we doing? Today, we're going to clear. But I found so many patterns in what you guys wrote on Monday that I was like, realistically, this is 2 sessions worth. So the way that we're going to go is that today is going to be clearing around spending, saving, holding. Friday is going to be clearing around your specific patterns of spending, clearing, holding. And then next week we've got 3 more sessions. And the topics that I'm going to start to play with are feeling like you're doing enough. Because I'm really playing into like where lack creeps in And it's been a huge one for me, of feeling like if I've got to scale the company, I've got to do everything. Do you know what I mean? If I'm scaling the company, I've got to do social media, I've got to do YouTube, I've got to do LinkedIn, I've got to do this, I've got to do that person that my neighbour said that I should do that event, I'd do that thing. And you get in this perpetual cycle of I'm never doing enough in terms of your head, so you never allow yourself to have the results in a way that is simple, right? And so I'm going to be working on this illusion of I'm never doing enough. That's going to be kind of a lack topic that I'm going to be going into next week. But if there is something, and I know some of you guys have messaged Tamsin, I know some of you guys are messaging the VIP group, but if there's something you really, really, really want covered, now is the time to send me that, okay? I'm going to talk about inheritances before I begin. Because in a weird way, I think even Daniela, when she was like reading the chat afterwards, like she's got an inheritance coming, and there seems to be like a lot of you guys that have got shit around. If I've not earned it, it's not real money. There's like this pattern of like, if it came to me easy, then I can't enjoy it. And there's this weird like guilt that I'm feeling in this group. So I'm going to talk to two things. The first thing is that Natalie Z, when you watch this, I've been thinking about your share, because the beautiful thing about this being in a group space is that you all come from very different financial contexts. So some of you guys maybe come from a wealthy family context and you've been given all of these assets and there's different layers of feelings around them. I didn't earn it. It's my family's money. I rely on my family, right? And that's a whole other heap of money stuff, right? But then we've got some of you guys that come from families that genuinely, you are the first person that's getting an education. You are the first person that's moving into financial abundance. You are the highest income earner as the child, right? Not that you guys are children, we're of different ages, but you know, child of your parents. And everything in between. And so Natalie Z, you put something in the chat and you're like, I'm not going to inherit anything, right? I'll probably be the one passing down the wealth. And that can on the surface seem like this fine thing to say. But I spent a long time thinking about it over this last couple of days. And I want to share a story about my dad. Jesus Christ, you guys must be bored of stories about my dad. Tamsin loves a story about my dad. It's hilarious. Like she is literally like ready for it. Guilt, this is the pattern I'm trying to clear. Yes, around receiving money. Yeah, we will be going specifically into guilt. But maybe guilt, Tamsin, write this down. Generalized guilt, not just in money, because that came up in the Power Healer certification. So let's do one just on guilt. Tamsin, will you write that down for me, please? Yeah, Tam's put, I love the stories about Don. So my father really came from nothing. You know, he was born 2 years after the Second World War. I was going to say the First World War, he's not that old, but the Second World War ended. And he was born into a world of rations, right? And his dad was RAF, his mum didn't work. And, you know, my dad was sent to military boarding school at the age of 11. And they were very stoic English parents. And so what that means is that he was given literally nothing. My dad started working on farms as soon as he could. And in the boarding schools, he started working as soon as he could. And he's, you know, worked 2-3 jobs to survive his whole life. And, you know, he's been able to come out of that, right? And so a big part of this probably makes more sense, right? A big thing that my dad did is at school, he just liked sport and German. He didn't like anything else. And after finishing university, he was like, fuck England, which is quite unusual in this time, right? Like, fuck England, don't want to be here. I just feel like I need to go to Germany and feel like I need to go to Scandinavia. And so he bought a 3-wheeled car, no joke, with his friend who is also called Don. My dad's called Don, his friend's called Don, which is humorous because in Spain, Don means Mr. So people meet him in Spain, they're very confused. They're like, you mean Don Don? Don 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 Don? And they just set off to this journey to Germany, Scandinavia, and all of these countries. And in this time, my father learnt, you know, Norwegian, Swedish, German. You know, he became super passionate, but everyone around him were kind of like, what are you doing? You're wasting your life. Languages won't get you anything. He didn't know he wanted to become a translator. He didn't know what he wanted to do. And he was doing all sorts of random jobs, like, you know, he had a seed selling business where he was importing seeds from Germany to England. He sold shoes that looked like Cornish pasties. He had a jumper business in a mountain. But all my dad wanted was enough money to survive and to be in nature and to go walking and to have girlfriends. I think that was it, right? And he's very much the same still. And, you know, he was away for about a decade. He didn't come back to England until his late 30s. And so you've got to think for that time, that was very late on. He was extremely behind the curve. You know, his mother was very full of anxiety that he was never going to have kids and he was never going to be normal. And he came back without saving a penny. His jobs all did enough to survive in a very humble way. Like there was once where he lived in a ward. Like he's just got all of these stories, but he learned all of these languages, and externally it looked like he'd gained nothing because there was nothing in his bank account. But internally he would not have been able to go on and do what he's done. You know, my dad decided what he was going to do at 50 years old, right? And he became successful in his 60s. And I said to Dad, I said to Dad when he was with me recently, a couple of weeks ago, I said, you know, we were just having some lunch. Dad, it's really extraordinary how you've built everything from literally you were given nothing. And he goes to me, Hanny, that's not true. And this is the power of thought, right? My dad's been an accidental manifester. He said, I was away the whole time and I just focused on doing what I loved, which was eating Scandi food, walking up mountains, wearing jumpers and ugly shoes. And he said, I always had this feeling when I was away that when I came back, I would come into money and that would let me buy a house and then I'd build from there. And I just thought to him, like, that is such a weird thing to say. He was like, I just had this feeling. And it's basically a vibrational choice. When he came back to England and he got a job as a teacher, which is like an 18k a year job, you know, his dad's brothers, uncles, sons, nephews, fuck knows what died. And it turned out that because his father fell out with whoever this very distant family member was, that instead of his dad getting the inheritance, it went to him and his sister. And so he got a lump of money that he'd never been able to save from this absolutely bizarre kind of family connect. And that's what allowed him to buy his first property, which was a shack. If you guys see where I grew up, we grew up in this massive home for England, for humble England, because my dad bought literally a pig farm. He had like 20 grand and he bought a pig farm and he renovated it because he wanted an amazing property, but he also didn't have the funds to do that. So my dad's always been very creative. And the reason that I tell you this story, Natalie, or anyone, is that we limit ourselves where we go, well, these are the family members that I know and it's never going to come to me because I'm the one. And even though that bears truth, it's like inheritances, random inheritances are one of the easiest ways that when you shift your frequency, the universe can give you money. And it's one of the ways that we can be open to unexpected windfall. But unexpected windfall is not just limited to inheritances from your parents. Unexpected windfall can come any single way that your brain will allow or believe. And so, you know, my father didn't probably have the belief system that he was going to be able to save that amount of money because his job was paying him 18,000, but he had such a strong belief system that he was going to come into money, a small lump of money, right, in an unexpected way, that the universe was able to match that with a specific situation of God knows what family relative passed away, and that relative is fighting with my father, my father's father, so he got the cash. And so this long story is to tell you guys, stay open. Your family situation does not matter. It's like, can you stay open to miracle money? Can you stay open to random blessings that don't make sense? Can you stay open to money that just doesn't come through work? Because the truth is, money is a frequency. And so if you're vibrating in, I've got a lump sum of money to buy a property, the universe has got to match that. And if you're going, oh, I'm never going to get an inheritance from my family, or I'm only ever going to get one inheritance from my family, then it can never come through to you because there's never enough belief for it to flow through. And so this is why in affirmations we want to be saying, like, I'm open to expected. So expected would be if you know that there's an inheritance, right? Or you know that there's going to be a bonus at work, or you know that you've got a wage at work, that's expected money. Or you know that you can sign a client, that's expected money. But like, the magic is, can I be open to expected and unexpected sources? Kim sent me an amazing story about her and her husband were thinking about whether they could actually afford their caravan, but they held the desire of, actually, we want to be in this luxury spot. And Kim, just correct me in the chat, right? They held open for this luxury spot of a better caravan, and through the most bizarre means they meet someone, there's an opportunity, and suddenly not only do they get the new snazzy caravan, Kim did not use the word snazzy, that's my embarrassing speak, in the luxury spot, they somehow saved 3,500. Like, it doesn't make logical sense, but she became the match to what she wanted, and then the world has to match that. The worst thing that you can do is feel the desire of wanting, I want the property, I want the coaching container, I want the one-to-one upgrade, and you go, oh, I can't allow myself to have it. Because then you're blocking the expected or unexpected sources to flow through you. If you're stuck in, I only make this amount of money, and my family's this, right? It's like, you can't be blessed in unexpected ways because you're stuck in the limits of the mind. It's not meant to make sense. The universe is energy. It's completely illogical. Let me read this. Sandra say, that's what happened to me. It was so random. Yeah, exactly. Sandra received 2 inheritances. One, the normal inheritance, and then the second inheritance when she bought a car and she was brave enough to own the desire, and she got the car, right? And then she was suddenly got a random inheritance for what she spent on the car. That's wild, right? In 3 months, because I knew the money would come in so many ways. This is exactly what I said to Salim about our caravan upgrade. We thought we couldn't afford it. We looked anyway. Some random numbers meant we got upgraded to a luxury lodge and got 3K back. That's so weird. Kim's put, it is snazzy. There we go. We agree with the snazzy word. So I just want to shake you in this from like perceived limits. And perceived limits are everywhere in even things that look real and look true. And this is why we do the fact versus story exercise, right? The second thing I want to talk about with inheritances is Adrienne put 1 in. And I don't know why we're so inheritance heavy in this training, but we are. She's received an inheritance that she wasn't meant to receive now. It's a living inheritance that her siblings received. She unblocked something in the certification session around her father and her siblings, and then suddenly she got the inheritance early, right? That's what happens with energetics. This was an inheritance that she wasn't going to get for many years, and suddenly she's got it. And receiving this inheritance has brought up, it's a new context financially, it's brought up lots of things. And there's this fear of, oh, I've got to be careful with it because this is going to be the one inheritance that I receive, and I don't want to get it wrong, I don't want to do it wrong, so I don't want to spend, right? And so I want to speak to this. I've received 2 inheritances in my life. The first inheritance I received at the same time that I was weaving. So you guys know that I made my first 6 figures in savings. I don't know the number of how much I made physically, but I held my first 6 figure in savings, and I've never gone underneath that or anything close to that. My first 6 figures in savings I made through an alternative system called the mandalas, a financial system, and through an inheritance. More of the money actually came through the mandalas, but I received it at the same time, roughly, right? The mandalas took me about a year, 18 months to do just under 6 figures, and then there was an inheritance on top of that. And at the same time that I received the inheritance, I quit the mandalas and I started the business. Okay, so that's kind of how it went down for me. And the reason that I share this story is that it's very interesting how differently our unconscious minds perceive, because Adrienne, I've noticed there's been a fear response for you, right? And it's gone into a holding pattern, a hoarding pattern of, I've got this, be sensible with it, don't spend it. And the way that I perceived it was, and I'm sharing this in case it's helpful, it's like, the way that I perceived it was, I've hit a new threshold of holding in my bank account. Now I need to normalize this so I never go under. And it wasn't that I didn't ever go down, because we've talked about this. We want to see money as the trampoline. I invested all of that money into the business, but I made you know, 15 times back. I don't know what the thing, a lot back. And so my new pattern became, one of my big things that I held was that I am that I never go under 6 figures in savings. I am that whatever I do, even if I spend it, I never go under 6 figures in savings. Now, that doesn't mean that I didn't pay in full for coaching containers and stuff. It just meant that when I lowered to that point, it bounced back up, right? And that was my manifestation for a good couple of years until I realized that was limiting me and I wanted more than that, right? So the point is, when you receive money, the affirmation becomes, that's the threshold, I am that vibrationally. So even if I spend it, I never go underneath it. And then that becomes your vibrational floor. And so what you'll see happens is that if that money is spent, it's got to fly back up, right? And you'll notice, and this is the belief system to hold, right? Of like a random deal comes in. And this has happened to me before, you know, when I had that low point, I did go to 90 once, and I was really frightened because I felt like, oh my God. And it was bonkers. Then like magic money came in, right? Because I'd set this as my lower thermostat. And so what I did in that moment, and it was really important, was allowed myself to spend, not panic, and relaxed into the feeling of I trampolined back up, right? Because the problem is when we go into rigidity, I can't spend it, I don't want to spend it, you become so constrained that no money comes in. You're blocking the flow. You're literally blocking the flow, the circulation of money, and that's why it slows down. Yeah. Sandra says, I've been feeling like this with the money I received. Yeah, exactly. You've gone into a hoarding pattern. And in your mind, logically, you're like, oh, this is me being safe and smart, and I'm never going to receive this again. Firstly, we never want to be affirming that you've received the final magic money, unexpected money, unexpected windfall. We need to be open to that's just who you are, right? Because when we normalize it in our unconscious, it happens repeatedly. And I shared with you guys, right? My mum didn't have a huge amount of money. She was a university lecturer. Last year, right, I was doing some manifestation work around receiving a very specific lump sum. I wake up in the morning and my father's like, oh, I've just put X into your bank account. I'm like, excuse me, sir? He's like, yeah, we just discovered 5.5 years after your mother died that there was a bank account that we all forgot about. That's such a weird thing. Like when someone passes away, there's this whole process where of where you go through the accounts. Like, do you know what I mean? It's not that they're like, oh, there's money there, let's leave it. And it was a large chunk. And so last summer, I suddenly receive this large chunk, this large lump of what I was manifesting. And I get this message from my mum being like, you think it's hard to make this much money, but I can do it like that. Random bank account. Dad's like, oh yeah, we bought my parents have never been like this. They've both been like proud of their humbleness but comfortableness, you know? And it was bizarre 5.5 years after she passed away. But I always am open to unexpected money. So we've got to hold the both, right? I'm open to unexpected money, magic money, but you're not relying on that because that's going to be dysregulated. But you also are doing the work to feel that, like, I think this is what I've noticed in this group lacks, is that you don't trust yourself to make the money back that you spend. That's what I'm hearing through all the patterns. And that's the big thing that needs to shift. Actually, that's what we'll do next week. We'll do what I'm doing is enough, so you can do less and get bigger results. We'll do guilt. And Tams, please write this down because you know I'll forget. And then we'll do self-trust. That's what we'll do. Because I was looking through a lot of the things, and I just felt a lack of self-trust, a lack of trust in God, a lack of, but primarily a lack of trust in yourself. It's like, if you've done something once, you can do it again. If you've got a pay in full for 7K, Hildegard, I'm speaking to you, or Sandra, being paid for your hormones, you can do it again. But I'm noticing that it's like a lot of you guys, not all of you, it's like, oh, I've received it. Now I'm going to get super tense and not allow myself to have what I want. And I'm going to experience a high level of anxiety because what if I lose it? But you wouldn't mind losing it. Like, I've spent the inheritances that I've received a bazillion times. Like, my team running costs more than the inheritances a year. right? Combined. If I didn't pay the team, you guys would not have the business, you wouldn't have the service. And the only reason I wouldn't pay the team is fear. So we have to allow money to move. You've got to allow money to move. And you've got to be open to developing your own skill set to create money, but you've also got to stay open to unexpected, easy money. And the money that you earn through your sweat and tears is not better. That's what I really wanted to land. It's money. That's it. Okay? So we're going to go into the things. That was the little pep talk that I wanted to give you guys this morning. And we're going to go into the things, okay? We're going to go into the tapping now. And so we've done these numbers to see what we've moved with the RRT. Bearing in mind, we're still in the generalized statements. We're not going to get into the specific patterns, right? The specific specific keys for your locks until Friday. We're still general. But a lot of the stuff that I put together for the general, I was like, yeah, you guys are in these categories. Cool, Jasmine, that is awesome. So 2, we're hitting that threshold of where we want to get to with under fear. And 7, we're going into that threshold of trust that we want to be experiencing ourselves in. So I love to see this. I love to see these shifts. Okay, are we ready for tapping? I'm going to count you guys in and we're going to begin, okay? And we're going to keep going with these generalized patterns. We're going to do 2 rounds of tapping. So what do I mean by that? We're going to do 1 set of tapping, we're going to breathe, then we're going to exhale, then we're going to do another round, and then we're going to tune in again, okay? And that's how we're going to finish today's session. So annoying that my nail fell off when I'm tapping. You can see, well, I suppose with a movie you can't see it that much. Anyway, we're accepting what we cannot control, and I can't control that right now. I will control it later. Okay. So we're going to begin in 3, 2, 1, tapping on the karate chop point, right? And you're going to start repeating after me. I'm going to go slowly, but sometimes you might still get lost. You might get a little bit behind. It's fine. It's still working, okay? Even though I've been feeling so many conflicting things around money, around fear, around pressure, around guilt, around worry, and around uncertainty, I choose to deeply love, honor, and accept myself. And I'm open to creating a new relationship with money. Now, even though I've been feeling so many conflicting things around money, around fear, around pressure, around guilt, around worry, and around uncertainty, I choose to deeply love, honor, and accept myself as I am now. And I'm open to creating a new relationship with money. Even though I've been feeling so many conflicting things around money, fear, pressure, guilt, worry, and uncertainty, I deeply love, honor, and accept myself. And I'm open to creating a new relationship with money. Now, starting to tap on the body. I've been feeling like spending money is unsafe, like I could regret it later. Spending big amounts of money makes me feel out of control, or like I'm feeling like I'm being reckless. Every time I make money or I receive money, I feel instant pressure or fear that it won't come back, or I'll never be able to do it again. I don't always trust money or myself with money. I've believed I need to be more responsible, more disciplined, more perfect with money, because saving feels hard and it just never seems to stay. So I always blame myself. Part of me thinks that I should have figured this out by now, by my age. And I feel scared that money always might disappear again or never come in. All of these old stories around money, I'm noticing, I'm learning, are just stories. They're just stories, they're not truth. So maybe I'm ready to let them go. I'm realizing that I'm ready to release the fear of not being good with money. I release the guilt, the pressure, and the need to be perfect with money. I release the fear that if I relax and spend money, I'll lose it all. I release the fear that I can't hold or keep money. I'm letting go of all the survival patterns that I've inherited or learnt through experiences around money. And I forgive myself for the past lessons or mistakes or experiences I've had around money. I'm safe to create a new story now. In spite of this, I'm realizing money wants to stay and grow with me. I'm realizing that I can actually save and spend and receive from deep alignment always, and that it never has to go away. Every lump sum isn't a signal to hold on in fear and scarcity. It's a signal that more is coming my way so I can have fun with money. Money responds to my safety, not my stress. My energy is becoming a stable container for consistent overflow. I'm learning to trust myself and trust money. I'm worthy of holding, growing, and enjoying great wealth. I'm building a safe, loving, and powerful relationship with money now. We're going to exhale and we're going to start to tap on the heart. So this is just between the breastbone, right, over the left side. And we're going to start activating and opening the heart as we declare this, okay? Because remember, all of the points in the bodies are to do with meridian points in the body, specific energetic points in the body. So we're going to tap on the heart and you're going to repeat after me. Even though I've carried these beliefs for a long time, maybe even lifetimes, I'm ready to release the old patterns. I'm open to receive money with ease. I'm open to spending with trust and saving with joy. Money flows to me and stays with me because I'm a powerful steward of wealth and I'm safe to expand now. Dropping your hand, inhaling, exhaling, and saying in mind, body, and soul. Just feeling what you feel, noticing what you notice. And we're going to begin the next round. So beginning on this karate chop point again. Even though I carry known and unknown resistance across lifetimes to holding, saving, and spending large amounts of money, I now choose to collapse all of those lifetimes. I release the fear, the karma, the guilt, the shame, and the sabotage. And I anchor into my divine truth. I'm safe to hold massive wealth. I'm safe to save and spend in overflow. I trust the quantum orchestration of abundance, and I choose to love and accept myself as I'm learning to do so. Even though I carry known and unknown resistance across lifetimes to holding, saving, and spending large amounts of money, I now choose to collapse those lifetimes and timelines, and I choose to love, honor, and deeply accept myself. I release the fear, the karma, the guilt, the shame, and the sabotage, and I choose to deeply honor and love and accept myself. I anchor into my divine truth that I am safe to hold massive amounts of money. I'm safe to save. I'm safe to spend in overflow. And I trust the quantum orchestration of abundance. And I deeply honor, love, and accept myself. Even though I carry known and unknown resistance across timelines and lifetimes to holding, saving, and spending large amounts of money, I choose to collapse those timelines and to love, honor, and accept myself. I release the fear, I release the karma, I release the guilt, the shame, and the sabotage, and I choose to love, honor, and accept myself. I anchor into my divine truth that I am safe to hold massive wealth, I am safe to save and spend in overflow, and I trust the quantum orchestration of abundance, and I love, honor, and accept myself. Tapping on the body. I felt unsafe with big money for lifetimes. It's like it's always stayed away from me or felt funky. I carry subconscious fears of power, responsibility, and loss, whether I know it or I don't. I fear what might happen if I hold too much wealth with too much ease and too much flow. These patterns I can't fully explain. I have no conscious awareness of memories of when they happened. But deep down, I know I feel the block. Maybe I or my family have lost it all before. Maybe I or my family was punished for being wealthy. Maybe I or my family had really negative experiences with those families that held money when we did not. Maybe I lost it all before. Or maybe I vowed to never be rich again. In the pain and suffering, I created a soul contract. And without knowing, it still plays out today. All I know is I feel tension When I save, I feel guilt when I spend, and I feel panic when I receive, even though it doesn't really make sense. This fear doesn't feel like it actually all belongs to me. It feels like it belongs to my ancestry, or lifetimes or dimensions that I don't fully remember today. I release all vows. I release all contracts. And I release all beliefs that wealth is unsafe, whether I know the experiences or I don't. I clear fear through all past lives where I lost or where I myself misused power, wealth, or money. I clear guilt about harming others through how I spent or used my power, wealth, or responsibility. I release trauma from lifetimes where I was persecuted for either being powerful or abundant. I collapse any future projections or any future lifetimes where money will lead to failure or regret. I collapse the future timelines where I experience rejection or lack of belonging because of money now. I release the part of me that's scared to hold large sums, and I'm realizing that it's safe now. I dissolve all the timelines of financial instability in all directions of time. I clear ancestral scarcity passed down through my lineage in my DNA. And I forgive myself and others across time for any money wounds I have carried. I anchor into the timeline where wealth is sacred and wealth is stable. I'm realizing that I'm a multi-dimensional steward of overflow. Money is a divine force that amplifies my purpose. I realize I am safe to hold and spend big money with joy and ease. Wealth is actually my natural state, and it serves the light. It's only fear that created the negative effects that I've lived prior. My nervous system can hold limitless amounts of money with ease, and I declare it so. My field is calibrating to wealth, retention, expansion, and legacy. And I now embody the frequency of timelines and multidimensional financial mastery. I program in a peaceful, wealthy future. Tapping on the heart. I collapse all resistance to holding wealth, past, present, and future. I rewrite my story in all dimensions. I am a safe, powerful vessel for money. Money loves to stay with me. It grows in my field, naturally. I spend from overflowing, knowing that there's always more money that can come to me than I see in my account. So even when I spend large lumps of money, I save with ease, and I hold more than ever before without fear. I trust the quantum now. I trust my wealth. I trust my expansion. And it is done. Dropping your hands, inhaling as you exhale in mind, body, and soul. Inhaling, returning to a natural breath. And I'll meet you in the chat. What's new for you? What shifted? Let's anchor in with this. There's a sense of bravery. Okay, love that, Jasmine. That's interesting. And what's really cool is that the more that you clear, the more that you get to discover who you really are. And some of you guys may have not thought that you were brave, but actually underneath the clearing, you realize that you are. Yeah? Gracie, yawning, clicks happening in my body as it was realigning, loving that. Samantha, knowing I'm protected. That's so beautiful. I adore that. That's such an amazing thing. And can you feel, Samantha, and for those of you guys, it's not you just going into the mirror, I am protected. It's embodied. You feel it in the body. And that's why we're doing so much tapping at the moment. I feel like a stream of water. Oh, I got a little flutter there, Sandra. That's, yes, exactly how you want it to feel. It's always moving. I'm spending, it's coming back. More is staying, right? It's that fluid sensation. Anyone else? I have this sense that my ancestors are with me, yeah. Absolutely. For those of you guys that have had ancestors that have experienced a huge amount of like pain around money and success, and like they're cheering you on, because what you shift in your body, right, shifts who comes after you and everyone that touches you, right? Whether it's touches you sounds so creepy. Whether it's having kids or just, you know, energetically, 11, energetically, those that come into contact with you, there's an energetic ripple effect that happens through energy fields, right? We need more people that are living in harmony and safety, because just witnessing someone that's living differently is an alchemist, right? It's allowed to be easy and it's allowed to be playful. I know those of you guys that did the Manifest with Ease with Tamza yesterday, there were ancestors, there were... I feel like a lot of people in the school are like waking up to their spiritual gifts at the moment, which is very cool. Samantha says like a warm embrace. That's so beautiful. And that's exactly it. And that actually is true and it exists. Okay, amazing. So let's do the numbers again and we'll close the session. Let me post this in. Okay, cool. So Samantha's down to a 2 for fear, which is amazing. And we're over a 9 and an 8 for receiving and trust. That's very, very cool. That's exactly where we want to be going. Fear of spending 1. Okay, that's very cool. Trust 9, saving 10. Love that, Sandra. Fear 2, trust 8, confidence and saving 6, 7. Cool. Fear 2, trust 6, saving 6. Amazing. These are all going in the absolute right way, and it's bloody awesome. And we've got another session again on Friday to do more. So fear 4, cool. Trust 8, confidence 7. Wow, fear 1, 7, 7. I love this. I love this. I love this. So the numbers, Samantha, are 0 to 10. 10 being how much control and fear do you feel around spending money? So 10 is lots of fear, 0 is no fear. 0 to 10 is trust that money flows back in. So 10 is high fear, 0 is no fear. 0 to 10 for confidence and saving. So 10 is full confidence and saving. 0 is no confidence in saving. So I can see real significant progress, guys. And so just a final little anchor for you guys to play with is that this is now done. This is irreversible, this is instant, and this is permanent. Oh, can we repeat the process again and again? That's so funny. I totally misunderstood that. Okay, Jasmine's just changed her numbers with that. Cool. And there'll be ones that are kind of like your Achilles heel. So fear with spending and 10, Jasmine, for you, might not be your highest, most fearful ones, but the trust in self with making money, that might be at a 5, because it's not just the money, it's the trust in self to create finances, which is why I'm happy we're going to do trust, guilt, trust, and doing enough. Those are the 3 that we're going to take next week. So yes, you can repeat the process. Some of you guys might feel, and this is really important, this is actually a really important question. Some of you guys might feel, wow, I'm complete. I'm done. I don't need to do that again. Like the change is here. Some of you guys will feel it's that peeling the orange analogy, right? Some of you guys might feel like, actually, some of those things are really deep for me, so I'm going to do it a couple more times. And it's like, you know, I don't know if you guys had a grandma that could peel an orange in one fell swoop. My grandma was insane at it. Like, it was just so impressive. But if one day she went to peel the orange and she took like 2 times to peel it, does that make her less worthy as a grandma? No. So just know that sometimes you'll come and it'll be instant and it'll be permanent and it'll be irreversible. And there will be times where you'll go, I could do that a couple more times. And then you'll go to the point of like, no, I never need to go back to this. Like, for example, last year I did one around like regulating my nervous system around belonging and criticism. And I did it twice. And the first time I fell asleep, like I had so much resistance come up. And then the second time I cleared it and it was like I was absolutely wiped, but I've never felt that I had to go back. All of these situations can play out. Sandra says, I feel like I can go for a run now. I'm pumped. That's so funny. It just shows, right, all of the nervous systems respond in different ways. I'm going to do this again and I'm going to invite my partner to do it with me as he kept coming up in the second tapping. Yeah, because there could be things happening for your partner, Gracie, that he's completely unconscious of as well. All right, amazing. Thank you guys for staying on for 15 minutes more with me, and I will see you at 10 a.m. on Friday. Bye.